Okay, so how many people here are Toastmasters or have been Toastmasters in the past? Okay, everyone here, okay. And how many people here right now are in the speech contest, hoping to advance? Okay, John is in the speech contest, or you are as well? Okay, it's coming up soon? Next week, good luck. Hopefully some things you learn here today that can help you as well. And if you're not in a speech contest, the material that I'll be presenting you can use for the next year to go further, deeper, and achieve your goals, all right? So here's my presentation. Can everyone see this, or do I need to turn off the...
It's better with the lights off.
Is the lights off? Okay, let's see. Oh, this one. But can you see me? Okay, good. As long as you can hear me, is a good volume mic on the camera? Everything good? Okay, so this is my promise. At the end of this talk, at the end of this presentation, you'll be inspired to take more action with your speaking. You'll take a lot more risks. You'll take a lot more risks with a lot more audiences. And you create world-class talks with power and confidence. That's my promise, and you can hold me to it at the end. Okay, so just want to give you a little background history about where it all started. I am a Toastmaster. I'm an active Toastmaster, and currently I'm a member of a club that meets here on Saturdays, which is Oaths Toastmasters. They meet every second and fourth, 30 to 12:30. And by the way, I'd like to congratulate and say thank you to all the Oaths members. Pankaj Sharma, she's the Vice President of Membership. Terry Fellinger, President. Sergeant of Ours, Dennis Egan. Thank you so much for creating this event and help making this happen. So I want to give you So in 2012, I joined Toastmasters. And some of you, can you tell I have an accent?
Yes, but I'm not sure what country.
Brazil?
Brazil?
No, not quite Brazil. Russia.
Okay.
Yeah. And I am an immigrant. And for the longest time, my family moved here about 2 decades ago, 21 years plus. And for the longest time, I had this limiting belief, or this story I told myself, that every time I speak, it's not that interesting. Or I was very shy. Not just shy, but painfully, extremely, embarrassingly shy. And I live in Philadelphia. I live in Philadelphia for most of the time I lived in the United States. Had a business, was married, had a house, and then financial crash, lost the wife, the house, the business, everything wiped out. And guess what I had to do? I had to move back home with parents. It's a little embarrassing, but that's the way life goes, right? And I felt like my life was over. I had to start over. And one of the things that really helped me to get back on my feet and start talking and expressing my story is Toastmasters. Toastmasters was that outlet where people can see me, I can share my story, and I can grow as a person. Why did you join Toastmasters? So let me just ask, if you're in Toastmasters, why did you join? To be a better communicator. Okay, are you growing every time?
Grown tremendously, and I joined in 2012.
2012, well, we're same year.
May
2012. I joined in April, I think. Was it 7 years already?
Yes, it has.
It's probably just went like this, right? And the friendships you made, and the places it took you, right? And yet to take you. All right, so anybody else would like to say why they joined Toastmasters? Okay, this is one of those pivotal moments. You have to go quickly.
Refine my speaking skills.
To refine you.
To be a professional speaker, when I think of professional, when you do something for a living,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be very, very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have good speaking skills, but to be a professional and get paid for it, I want to refine those skills to be at the level where I'm looking for perfect personality to speak.
Absolutely. It's about the skill. One of the greatest marketing tools we have as professional speakers and as business owners growing our business speaking is your skills on a platform. How well can you move the audience? How well can you explain the concept? Are you funny? Or is there humor involved with it? And I'll be talking about that, how to make sure that you can incorporate that. But it's also about positioning as well. Okay? Anybody else like to say why did you join Toastmasters? So you were first, and then we'll go to Terry.
I joined a little over 3 years ago. Each year I try to do something outside my comfort zone. So 3 years ago I wanted to meet some new people, have fun, learn to communicate a little better, and that year it was Toastmasters. This year I took a comedy class at the Improv.
Excellent.
3 years ago it was Toastmasters, and it's been great. I love it.
Yeah, Toastmasters is one of those things that changes your life. If you put in the work, right? If you open yourself to it, it really will. And congratulations on taking yourself out of the comfort zone. And thank you for coming. Terry.
Yes, I saw an ad in my lunchroom at Disney, and it said, "Do you want to be a better communicator and speaker?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd really like to do that, but I work like 50, 60 hours a week. How am I going to do this?" So it took a couple of years, and then I finally decided if Disney could make extra magic hours, I could make some magic hours for myself.
Right.
And I joined Toastmasters, and it's something I will never forget because I've learned so much from all the people that I have met through the years. I never thought I'd ever be in a contest, and I was by accident. And it's just amazing.
We are still growing, and this is my friend John Morrow. He is filming me. One of his most used quotes, he said, "I'm a work in progress." So I give you credit for that, John. Thank you for being here as well. We are all work in progress, and we're growing. And in this process that we'll be talking and going deeper in my presentation, I will ask you another request, to stay open to me, to stay open to yourself, and be engaged as much as you can. Take videos, take photographs, take notes, ask questions, and just ask questions as they come, as you hear them, because that way, I really want this to be a workshop that at the end of this, you will have a skeleton, a structure, and some things you can implement. Will you do that for me as well? So stay open to me and say yes.
Yes.
So as you can see here, this is me holding this big trophy. Now it's a big champagne mug at home. We're getting dust, right? So this is a part of the contest, right? And this is a contest that happens every year in Toastmasters, the International Speech Contest. The largest speech contest in the world. 135 countries. How many contestants? 35,000? 40 contestants? 40. So we have club, we have area, we have division, we have district, we have semifinals. Now they do a little bit different. There's going to be video, right?
Quarterfinals are going to be video, semifinals
It's still, okay.
That's why we have the videotape that district.
And I think it's great demo video for all aspiring speakers if you get to that level. If you can use that as part of your marketing collateral, I think it's invaluable. So what you have here is the culmination of about 9 months of intense self-guided practice. And this is me holding that thing. I'm up front. This is little Oscar. And I was able to win the district speech contest out of 9 contestants. And there was a speech about quitting smoking. A lot of my peers who were on the stage, it was very heavy contest, I remember. There was a lot of people who were talking about terminal disease and losing and relatives. It was just very somber. And then speaker number 4, Mark Guy, comes out with a big cigarette box and starts dancing on stage. That's what it, and I think a lot of things that have helped me is that even though I took the contest seriously, I didn't take it too seriously. My main goal was to have as much fun I can possibly squeeze in this contest. And that's the reason that I think I advanced so far. Because even though it was a serious topic about overcoming addiction, I was talking about my sister, but I think what made it the best for me is have as much fun as legally possible on stage and share it with all your friends. And I think, and you get lucky too. So I'm not gonna claim I was the best speaker. I think you get a little bit luck as well. So after that speech, then it took me to my next endeavor, TEDx Ocala. I have a TEDx talk, and this speech right here now I'm using it as my primary video marketing tool to get hired at keynote speeches and at different corporations, just because of this 11-minute talk. In the speaker world, TEDx brand is still very, very respected. It's still very strong. So when a meeting planner or somebody from a corporation sees you have a TEDx talk, see those 3 letters behind you, they put you in a different echelon, and they're more receptive to see where you are. Does that make sense? So after this TEDx talk, start speaking at Script Orlando in downtown. I also hold my own events, which is for business owners. Last year, we did 3 events in Orlando Airport. And it also takes me here. You see all this good-looking and very attentive listeners? Kids. Just because of that speech that I gave, I've been invited to speak at corporations, schools, associations, and conferences. And I tell you, this audience right here is the best audience. If you can make your kids laugh, you are a great speaker. A few years ago, my friend invited me to speak at church. It was a church youth rally. And I remember I didn't have my legs yet, I may not have them now. And I remember sitting in the audience and everyone comes on stage and jumping around and they sing. And I remember having this constriction in my throat, speaking in front of kids. So I went and I brought my cigarette box, which I called my lover at the time. It was true, I was addicted. And I started to give my speech from start to finish. And nobody laughs. They look at me just like you're looking at me right now. So I'm thinking, like, what is going on? If I cannot make them laugh, I just have to leave the stage. And then I realized I don't need to make anyone to like me or force anyone to laugh. I just need to be myself. If I am myself on stage, people will connect. And that truly has been my method of operation ever since. And this is more. Okay, you see this? As long as you can get kids involved, do games all the time, as often as you can. This I spoke for 2 hours. And they had no cell phones. They had to look at me. And everywhere you look, they look at your back. That's a challenge. So I would challenge you to speak in front of audiences you never spoke before. In preparation for my contest, I spoke maybe over 200 times. Sometimes were Toastmasters clubs in District 48, District 84. I would travel, sometimes 3, 4 clubs, sometimes several in a week whilst working part-time, just to get my stage time. I also had teams of coaches that helped me write the speech, practice the speech, and guide me. And if one of the areas I also spoke was halfway houses, hospitals, schools, just to make sure that people never heard me before, because the toughest audience is your best teacher. If you sign up for a comedy club, you know what I'm talking about, right? When nobody laughs, you get a little nervous, right?
I guess.
But I think the trick is just to keep going. You don't have to be perfect, just have to be present. Present for the audience, and your audience will be invested in your success. That's what I have found.
Ask a question.
Yes, please.
Where did you get the coaches? Who were these coaches, and how did you get them to be your coach?
Okay. One of the things that I have learned in losing my business, losing my marriage and homes and everything, that a lot of times I had this feeling that I know what I know. I was very ego-driven. I'm very competitive with myself. I have very high standards that I place on myself, and I expect others as well. And what I have learned is that the more I isolate myself, the less effective I am as a person. So I know this for a fact. So I realized, what can I do differently? In fact, the woman who beat me the year before, she was a teacher in the contest in 2014. And I'm thinking, like, how did she beat me? I mean, my speech was solid, it was good, it was emotional, it was transformative. She beat me. And I said, okay, I have 1 year to prepare. And I laid out the plan. I say, what clubs do I need to join? What are the people I need to contact? So in essence, I became like a traveling spokesperson, salesperson. And I went to different clubs, different venues, and I increased my visibility. And it attracted high quality people to me. They approached me and say, Mark, would you like to be a part of this trio? Would you like to be a part of this mastermind? Would you like to join and be a contributor? And then in addition to that, I have formed my own mastermind and coaches groups. I know that I work much better when a part of the team. So I designed this type of ramp to get to the contest. I know I need to meet on the weekly basis with this group of coaches, with this group of professional speakers, and I just seeked out anyone I can. So I build relationships. I contributed to their success, and they contribute to my success. It's about giving. It truly is about giving, which it actually takes me to how to make an effective speech. A lot of times, have you been to seminars where they sell from stage, right? They sell, and you know the offer is coming. Oh, I'm not going to disappoint you, the offer is coming. And I have done that as well. There's some things I learned, but in keynote speaking, in events that I do, I try to give so much value to build trust, to build rapport, and then create an invitation to work with me. So one of my mentors, and this is actually, John was one of the masterminds that I was part of, John and Dr. Diane Longstreet. She told me, Mark, speaking is a gift. It's a gift you give to the audience. It's a gift of your wisdom of who you are. It's the energy that you share with your audience. And I'll never forget it. And I feel that it was divine intervention for her to come into my life, and also John and others who have told me that speaking is a gift. Speaking is about you sharing where you are and hopefully make the state of your audience better. Does that make sense? Yes. And so, and then, yes.
I'd just like to add that when I joined Toastmasters, I was completely isolated. So joining Toastmasters, I was trying to get back into the world, but I didn't know anything at all. And I met Mark, and he really inspired me. In fact, I signed up for the Dean Speech Contest, and I got all the way to the division.
District, congratulations, yeah.
Motivating factor, and he taught me a lot, and he was my coach. So, if it hadn't been for him, and he started into singing, and John was there too. I remember all the guidance I got, and it was deeply appreciated. And I don't think I would have gotten that far had it not been for their guidance and their coaching. So it makes a huge difference. You surround yourself with, and learn what they have to offer.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's something I learned, and I live by it. And a lot of times, how many people have Facebook accounts? Okay, some of you don't have. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook. So on Facebook, it gives you suggestion of friends, speakers, coaches, mentors. And I invested so much time in building relationships over years and years and years and years and years who are professionals, who are at the top of their game. And somehow they respect me, I respect them, and we have this collaborative. So when I have a TEDx coming up or a speech coming up, I send them my video. I say, would you mind taking a look at this? And then they cut it to pieces. They say, okay, where's my big knife? So I can cut the speech. And you need to be open to that. So I think it's investment in relationships. And also, if you have aspirations to be a professional speaker, National Speakers Association is a great launch pad, to get you to the next level. And there's so many. There's a Florida Speakers Association, National Speakers Associations, there's speakers bureaus. You need to be around people who are speakers, who are earning their living from speaking. Because that is no fluff, no BS. I'll tell you exactly where you need to be. And I think Tony Robbins said, part of our life is your success is based on a direct expectation of your peer group. Like, who do you surround yourself with? Who are the 5 people? Who are the 10 people? Are there some people you need to vacate, some people you need to invite, or maybe lead? And I just have found out that I cannot do it alone.
I'm actually reading his book, Awaken the Giant, right now. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. Does that make sense? And then here, this is actually my business partner and I, we do training. This is at EA Sports in Maitland, all because of what? TEDx. 11 minutes on stage, giving you amazing stories. And this is a symposium in Jacksonville, and this is a keynote speech in Siemens I did last year. And a lot of times, you probably have stories. How many people here film their videos and their talks? Okay, John, Emily, Jacob, Dennis. Okay, you need to film every time you speak. Okay, because the camera does not lie. It will tell you exactly who you are. And a lot of, here, how did I get this keynote message from Siemens, right? This is their IT Innovation Days closing keynote. What I have figured out, the team who hired me, somebody on that team was an immigrant. And my story is about being an immigrant. So a lot of times we say, my story may not be valuable, nobody may hear it. You don't know that. Some people will hate your guts, And some people will say, you are exactly the person we need to come and talk to our audience. So as long as you open up and speak about it, somebody will connect. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is my mantra that I live by. Public speaking is an energy exchange between you and the audience. That's all it is. It's just an exchange of who you are and where they come from. So don't have a speech, have a conversation. A lot of my clients, when they first approach me, and these are executives who are very good at their craft. Welcome, by the way. Thank you for coming. They're very good at what they do. And a lot of times what stops them from being the very best is they psych themselves out. They think, okay, I have this big presentation, I have $2 million deal writing on it, or maybe several $100,000 deal that are gonna keep us busy for the next 6 weeks. And they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And I say, one of the first things you have to do, talk to me, have a conversation with me. Talk to me, I am your friend, I'm here to listen, and I will support you. Does that make sense? Am I speaking too fast? No? And if any of it does not make sense, so if you have a question, please make sure you ask. So this is what we'll be covering. In this, we'll be talking about preparation, we'll be talking about content, and we'll be talking about delivery. And I'll also be talking about body gestures, right? How many people have questions about body gestures and body language? Okay. Terry, everyone else good with body language? I just want to know. Okay, are you an expert in body language? Okay. Well, maybe I'm not going to pick on you, but I like to change the position. So I'll be close.
Using the force.
Right. So I'll be talking about body language and gesture. So, can anyone tell me what the heck was I doing here? This? Huh? I'm pointing to something, and I have this hand right here, and I have this point. For the life of me, this has been several years in a conference in Miami. I still don't know what the heck I was talking about. So we'll be talking about what works and what doesn't. How about this gesture right here? What in the world was I doing? I was so involved and engrossed. Probably I was talking about direction. This was at another event, empowering event in 2017.
You look like a traffic cop.
Who?
A traffic cop.
Traffic cop, possibly. How about this gesture? This was in Jacksonville in September of last year. I'm having too much fun on stage. That's the thing, right? We're talking about that as well. And then this gesture, which is, I call it the Jesus gesture. And I'll talk about the effectiveness. It's actually a real thing. And some of you may have heard it. It's very effective. Okay, you guys ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay, preparation. One of the things, okay, does everyone has piece of paper and a pen to write? Phone. Okay, use your brain. Or maybe ask someone. Okay. One of the first things you must decide in your brain for yourself, what is the purpose of my talk? What is the objective? So who has a big, high-stakes presentation? Does not have to be very important, but presentation that you'd like to succeed at next week, next month, next year. You know what? I do have paper. I can give it to you. Yeah, do you mind? Just sure that because I would like everyone to do this exercise.
You have to write very small.
I have extra pens.
Yes. Thank you. Toastmasters are prepared. Like it.
Right in our phone, we have to have
It's about the same size. It's about the same size.
I'll give you a pen. Here, why don't you take this one right now and have another one.
And it's a good stretch break too.
Look at all the paper,
Right?
paper
Yes.
I'll take it.
And thank you for being so cordial and open and understanding and so resourceful. This is what Toastmasters is all about. Teamwork.
I have a pen.
All right. One of my speaking mentors is Beverly Lerner. I think she's a DTM a couple times over. She's an amazing speaker. In fact, we are neighbors. I live just maybe 5 minutes away from her. I'm not even kidding. I can walk over to her house, knock over, which I have done a couple times, say, Beverly, it's me, Mark, and it didn't turn out this way, but somehow we became friends and we've been working together ever since. So one of the things she told me, and see, I just did so, and that's okay. Sometimes you can say so. It not going to hurt anyone as long as you keep moving. But if some,
Caught yourself, nobody else noticed.
that's right, plus the camera, I can edit it out as well. Excellent. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. One of the first things she told me said, Mark, if you can write the purpose and what your speech is about on the back of the business card, you are on the right track. So what I'm going to ask you to do is this. Because this is an exercise, you can use between 7 to 15 words. Write out the objective of your next speech. What is this speech will do? What will this make people stop doing? What will they make them feel, do, act differently? Is there something that you are gifting them? Are you looking to sell? What is the objective of your next speech? And we have some thinking music. It's in your head. We'll just do 60 seconds. Yeah. And if it's 17 words, that's okay. We can go lower. We just need to get something going on paper. Is it good, John? Between 7 to 15. Target is 10. Like ideal is 10. Okay, this is it. All right, everyone pretty much got it? Who would like to share? What is the objective of your next talk? Yes. Using the power of critical thinking to make better decisions. Okay. One challenge I have for you is this. In my coaching practice that I do with my clients is every time they come to me and they say, okay, I have this big presentation at Sarasota or Fort Myers, and John knows this, right? Because he is part of the team as well with me, is that a lot of people who have presentations, they take it very lackadaisical, or, oh, I'm casual. I know my material. I know my PowerPoint. I say, okay, take a paper, pen, and write out the objective every time. Because every time we write something down, it becomes real, right? And a lot of times when we don't write out the objective, we lose energy, we lose money on the table, we lose. So every time you do a speech, make sure you write the objective. Or work with your coach, work with your mentor, and make sure that you write it out, but also you speak it out. You speak it out and make sure you have that exchange. How many people 100% of the time write out the objectives before their speech? Renee? Just you? Good, congratulations. Right. Absolutely. A lot of times what helped me in the offices that we use in Lakeland for our training, we have a big whiteboard. And on a big whiteboard, we write out the objective. So as our session progresses, we look at the objective. The objective is also something referred in the speaking world as foundational phrase. Foundational phrase determines what stays, right? Anything else that's not related to the objective or the foundational phrase will be removed, pruned, cut out from your speech. I believe being laser focused gives you the fastest results possible. And it allows you to create speech in a short period of time, but then test it. So it's an objective, it's the purpose, it's the foundational phrase. Does that make sense? And if you can say it in 10 words or less, you're golden. But I do allow maybe 12 or 13. Thank you so much. Let's do one more objective. Yes?
Just a little bit of background. I've given an icebreaker before, but I chose another pathway. I'm going to give another icebreaker. And what I'm going to say is why I chose the visionary speaker pathway.
Why I chose a visionary speaker pathway. Okay, so that will be speech to inform, to introduce, right? Things like that? Okay. So if you decide that objective, and we know that your first draft is not always the best, unless you do it like a professional, right? Where you know exactly what you're talking about, right?
I'll let you tell me that.
It takes 10 to get one. You write out 10 objectives. Sometimes you change the one letter, one word, you take it out, you put it back in. You take a coffee break, then you come back in and you write it one more time. So on the 11th, on the 12th, on the 13th, that's when you get a breakthrough. And the way I like to do it is I have a notepad with me when I have a client or when I'm doing a presentation, and a meeting planner asks me, what is the title of your talk? I have several prepared, and sometimes I do deviation based on the audience that I'll be speaking. Sometimes I will be very frank with you. It takes me 3, 4, 5, 6 hours to come up with a title that is so magnetic to my audience. And then I ask the audience members, what brought you to this workshop? What brought you to this conference or choose this to come and visit us? They said, the title. The title spoke to me exactly, spoke to my heart. And I believe the more time you spend on title, objective, purpose, foundational phrase, it will bring in your audience who will be eager to connect with you. It is so important. Does that make sense? Because if you shortcut the process, you shortcut your profits. That's how I say it in my business. But you cannot do it. It's not to be. How many people here have heard of Martin Luther King Jr.? Right? Heard his speech as well? Right? It was a powerful speech, right?
I haven't read one. He's had many, but yes.
Right. This man right here, I recommend this book to everyone. Adam Grant, Originals. He did some research into the Martin Luther King speech and how it came about. He says that Martin Luther King has been given that speech in a prior year over 200 times. Not in that form, right? But in different forms. So on the day of the speech, he was ready. He was ready to deliver the powerful speech. So if you truly are a professional or aspire to be professional, or take yourself to the next possible level, you constantly work on your craft. In addition to my notebooks, I have my phone. So as soon as I think of a great idea or a talk or a point, I put it in my phone. And then I share it with my coaches, with my clients, and with my audiences. It's constant. It's never stopping. But the best ideas I get are in the shower. It's like, oh, this is a great idea. Did you know that Tony Robbins has a whiteboard in his shower, and as soon as he has an idea, he writes it on the wall to make sure he doesn't forget? It's just something to think about. And we got to keep it PG-13, right? This is a Toastmasters Plus event. Okay. As you think about your objective and your purpose, one of the things that really helps me is this. I am a coffee addict, and it does help me to think. So it's a process. Be comfortable, get some water, get some coffee, and start writing. Because your foundational phrase will determine what stays. Okay. The better you prepare, the better you present. Would we all agree on that? You have to spend 1 hour for every 5 minutes of your talk. That's when it's rehearsed, maybe even more. A lot of times, like I said, was lucky to be part of the TEDx tribe. They say you spend between 70 to 80 hours of preparation for your TEDx talk. 70 to 80 hours. The TEDx talk that I delivered in 2017 on November 4th in Ocala,